What's going on, guys? This is Austin's weekly wrap. I'm going to talk about the wins. I'm going to talk about a failure. I'm going to talk about something new. And I'm going to talk about something that's been on my mind. Okay. So the wins first. Delivered some prizes to the winners for the LAX Coastal Education Mileage Club group. It's really fun to be able to deliver prizes to people that usually don't get much recognition because they're in the thick of things. They're, always working. They're always focused on other people. And so when I can give gifts to those types of people and they really appreciate it, it really lights me up. So I was excited to deliver those gifts this week. I got in touch with 4 HR directors from schools that we're trying to bring fly bodies to. So in the very beginning of the year, I made it a point to call every school I could to try to plant the seed to say, hey, I'd love to provide wellness services by fly bodies to your school. And to be honest, it's like planting the seed that early because they're going to think about it all semester and think, hey, maybe this is something we want to do later down the road. And a lot of people said, hey, get back in touch with me in 5 or 6 months. Well, I got in touch with a few of those folks, 4 people specifically, and they're like, okay, yeah, send it to us again. We'll check it out and then we'll go from there. So that was exciting. I reached out to a bunch of college alumni offices and they are super responsive. So it's always exciting talking to them because they seem to be very open to using the FlyFit app to track their alumni's steps and mileage and stuff and creating that club atmosphere for bringing alumni back. So it's exciting when I can call an alumni office and they pick up and we talk and it's good. A lot of times you don't get that, you don't get anybody picking up on the phone. So you're calling like 20 numbers and when people don't pick up, it's pretty demoralizing. So that's exciting. That's a win. Let's see. I ordered new sweatshirts and fleeces for faculty and staff at Chadwick, and I'm going to get the new Fly Bodies logo put on there. And so those came in. I think the last box came in on Friday, and I put one on. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So I'm excited to give those out after they get embroidered because I think the teachers are really going to like those. It's a step up from what I usually give. I'm not saying I give bad stuff, but different types of swag feels a little different. So this is going to be a step up. So I got that stuff in. Now I just need to turn it into the embroiderer on Tuesday because Monday is Memorial Day. A failure. I completely missed a meeting I was supposed to have with the alumni office for Loyola High School. And to be honest, I was making a lot of phone calls to a lot of alumni offices, and then all of a sudden, I just lost track of time. And I think I went down and took a nap. And when I got back, I had just forgotten about it because I was really, really tired. And I looked on my calendar and it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. But the nice thing was I emailed them and said, hey, I'm so sorry I forgot to meet you. Or if you got on the meeting, I'm sorry I wasn't there. And they were like, it's fine. It's grad week. It's also a lot of reunions going on. So let's meet in June and later in June. I was like, okay, thank gosh. But that reminded me of a couple of meetings that other people, or at least one group, basically, they didn't show up at my meeting that I was on, and I was pretty pissed because why would somebody miss a meeting that was on the calendar? And now I kind of have this perspective of, obviously, I hope people show up to meetings, but if you don't show up, please send an email that says why you didn't show up, because that's what I did. I would hope somebody would do the same. So that was my failure. It's not a huge failure, but it's a failure. Something new. I went to the Getty Art Museum with my wife yesterday on Saturday, and it was awesome. It was really cool to see the different architecture, the different art that's been around since 1700s, maybe even older art than that. But it's pretty incredible what has been built up at the Getty Museum. And it's open to the public. It's free to the public. You just have to pay for parking. And so it's pretty awesome. I highly recommend anybody in Los Angeles go see the Getty Museum. That was the first time I'd ever been. So we're going to be going back because it's a really fun thing to go do with friends and family. And just to walk around that place was good. The other thing I tried this place called Sandough. And it's basically sandwich and dough put together to make Sandough, because these sandwiches are basically like an Italian style crust folded together to make a sandwich, and it's delicious. I got the chicken Calanese, I think that's what it's called. And then my wife got the steak sandwich, and we shared, but the steak sandwich was pretty bomb, I'm not gonna lie. Wasn't a ton of meat in there, but it was delicious, I'm not gonna lie. And it wasn't super expensive. I think it was $40 for the 2 sandwiches. So $20 for a sandwich, kind of expensive. But at the Getty, if you bought a kombucha, it was like $10. So I didn't buy that there. So I feel like made a pretty good, decision. Go check out Sandough. And then the last thing, something on my mind, timing matters when it comes to sales and when it comes to just life in general. Timing matters. I think we don't really think about how much timing matters. Obviously, taking action is definitely a good thing. Like, you don't have to wait until the perfect time to do something, because also if I would have waited until now to reach out to HR directors at high schools, they would have been like, what is this? Wait, I haven't had time to even think about this, blah, blah, blah. But maybe they would have been like, oh, this is perfect time. Send me the stuff. That type of thing. Who knows? But I reached out, 5 months ago, and I said, I think you guys would want to do a wellness program for your faculty and staff. We'll send it over and get in touch with me in 5 months. But from a timing standpoint with college HR directors or college alumni offices, they're like, oh, this is actually our planning time. So this is great that you reached out to us now, because now we can try to plan for something for the fall and next year, because we're going to be allocating our funds for the upcoming fiscal year. And so timing does matter, because I like Alex Hormozy's approach to selling stuff when it comes to timing. If you owned a restaurant and you said, hey, we have the best steak on the menu, they order the steak. They eat the steak and they go, oh my God, that was so good. That's awesome. You wouldn't come try to sell them another steak, because if you tried to, they'd be like, well, I just ate the steak. Well, it's the best steak in the world. You should want to eat another one. It's like, no, not necessarily. They would want to eat dessert. So timing, I say timing matters, and what you're trying to help people with matters, because people are more open when it comes to, if they're in the right time, to want to take your help, essentially buy your product, that type of thing. The timing matters because 3 years ago, I reached out to a school and I said, hey, I'd love to do some type of wellness program for your school, for your faculty and staff. And then 3 years later, they're like, finally, hey, we're going to do something. So it's just, you don't always hit the right time, but sometimes you'd get lucky and you go, hey, this was actually the perfect time to reach out. So just remember, timing does matter, but it's not the only thing. All right. Another thing, I guess this comes into timing, is you never know when people are going to need your help, or you never know when reaching out to somebody and asking them how they're doing is going to be helpful for them. And you never know when somebody's going to come into your life that is super beneficial. Like, it's, the universe is crazy. And every time I feel like we try to make everything perfect, we get kind of let down, because we're like, oh, it was supposed to work out perfectly. Why didn't it work out perfectly? But it doesn't. And so you never know when somebody's going to need your help, or you're going to need somebody else's help, and they just come into your life. So that's something I've been pondering. Something that's been on my mind is like, it's always good to reach out if you even have an inkling of like, oh, should I reach out to this person? Then you never know. That's all I got, guys. Hopefully it's a good update for my life this week. Some wins, a failure, something new, and then what was on my mind. That's all I got. Hopefully that's helpful. And keep getting after it, guys. Love you. Adios, amigos.